just wants to support the demands. That's, what he said, what he's himself, joyfully wants to
And that, every time I agree with Bob.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Put it on the mask, it depends on the mask, it minimizes it, otherwise.
No,
Yeah, you have to get the ones that have like the wire
Is that what
in
it's
the
wire?
top, that way you can like squeeze it on your nose
Squeeze it
and then
She's color coordinated.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know, oh my God. So I'm going to watch it up and I. Muchas sama yang so
All right. That was all right, not okay. Yeah, you missed it. See, that's what I was doing, too busy looking at the maps. Like the Bola order, the regularly scheduled, October, Board of Selectmen meeting, Tuesday, June 16th, 2027. 5 weeks. John Lane, myself, and Peter is usually that's off camera, I'm sure. If you could join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business tonight to get back in this year, we're going to move item 3 all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
We'll see you here at 10.
Yeah.
Past adjournment, yeah. Item number 1, number 2, review and approve Board of Selectmen meeting minutes dated June 2nd, 2020. Motion to approve. Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just quickly, I know that we streamed the meetings to YouTube, and then those were recording, and just noticing that recording seems to have part of the meeting last week, it's like on YouTube, and then you have recording a video. So you can-
I'll look into that. I've never watched this, so I'll check on that, and if you do check tonight, and see what happens, we're streaming it now.
Yeah, I just want to make sure this, because there was some pretty significant discussion in the place of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
The live streaming report that we speak, so I'm going to look on there, to check, if you remember checking it tonight, see what happens, I'll try to remember to look at that, and make sure it's recorded correctly. Okay. Now, that was our meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last word is lucky.
Okay, so thank you for that. All right, on that note, then, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item 3, review and approve car box rolling around its way. No audience for that tonight. Aaron, you have that?
Dave McKay from Boundary.
Dave McKay, thank you. Who will give us the Golden Pony Show?
Okay. We'll give you a limited going pony show until I find out that I can't see anymore. Okay, for the record, my name is Harry Keller. I'm an attorney with an office at 736 to 32 on Huntersville, and I represent American Industries. With me is David McKay, a professional engineer with Boundaries, who is a design engineer on the project. This is a proposal for a public-private partnership to realign about 2,000 feet of Tarbox Road from about its midsection between the Plainfield Town Line and Bucks Bridge Road to the Plainfield Town Wall. It's a section of road that has 4 vertical and horizontal alignments. And the proposal will result in reconstruction of the road, the realignment, and from making the horizontal curve out of that section of road. So it'll be a vastly improved road. Dave Woolman, who is an affiliate of American Industries, owns the property on the southeasterly side of the existing car lot. and the Weston Realty owns the property on the northwest of the South Shore. Both of those properties have either been excavated or actively being excavated now. So you have road geometry that sits up about 40 feet above the adjoining roadways, making it relatively impractical for future development along either section of the road. So the proposal is not only to make this a better road, but to bring it down in elevation, take the curve out. Now, this is your existing car box road. And the proposal is to realign car box road from about station 6+00, which is 600 feet from our starting point here. And to realign the road to the southeast, this is the existing road, this is the proposed realigned road. Taking the curve out and reducing the elevation of it about 30 to 40 feet. Now, the benefit in this rock plant is it's all gravel under that road. So the proposal is that we get the gravel out from under the road and then the side slopes. The town of Canterbury gets 2,000 feet of new road. Based on the bond estimate that we've submitted to you, because obviously you're going to want to post a performance bond to make sure it gets done. It's about $750,000 job, $750,000 road benefit to the town of Canterbury. The road currently has no closed drainage system. It's sheet flow off of the road, and we're proposing to keep it sheet flow. We have highly permeable soils on both sides of the road, so it's an excellent situation to just utilize sheet flow rather than create point source discharges. You may ask why we're not doing something with this curve down here in the westerly part of the roadway. If you look at the plan, you can see we're right up against inland wetlands on the south side of the road with a pond in this location here. And we also have an inland wetland system pinching right up to the north side of the road also. So that limits how reconstruction could occur through here. Any reconstruction in that area would have major wetland impacts, and in our opinion, even if it was permittable at the town level, it would not be permittable by the Army Corps of Engineers. They would have to protection. So, in conjunction with the proposal, we have submitted a number of deeds with the application, all of which have been executed other than the deed from the town of Canterbury, conveying back the portion of Carbox Road which will be discontinued. There are a number of conveyances, both conveying the new road right of way to the town of Canterbury, as well as conveyances between Rewardstein Realty and P&J Holdings. Those have all been executed, and I have those all in escrow, and will continue to hold them in escrow until the project is completed. In conjunction with this, because there is going to be a proposed conveyance and acceptance of real property, I understand from talking to your town attorney is this will have to go to town meeting for approval. It also needs to be referred to your planning and zoning commission for a review and recommendation under section 8-24 of the Connecticut General Statutes. And we will also need a discontinuance of the public right of way in the portion of Carbox Road which is being discontinued. And that's a process that your attorney can advise you on to go through that process of discontinuing. And of course, we've got a very complete erosion sediment control plan with the application. There are sediment traps in various locations that have been specified by the engineer. Silt fence and hay bales will be installed in order to direct stormwater during construction to those sediment traps. And they've been sized in accordance with the soil erosion and sediment control guidelines to accommodate 134 cubic yards of storage during for each disturbing date. We are proposing to stockpile the material during construction activities on the property on the south side of the road, which is owned by P&J Holdings. I'm sure you're all familiar with that property. It's fairly flat now. It's excavated. The active excavation on that property has been completed and it's been using that for staging in conjunction with this project. And you can see we're showing the feasible stockpile location on the P&J property here on sheet 7. So sheet 8 is the southwesterly portion of the road, both in plan view and in profile view. And you can see in profile view the existing grade of the road, the high point, and very unaccommodating vertical alignment to the road. The proposed grade, as I indicated, is a uniform grade through this section at about 2.3%. And as you can see further northerly towards the Springfield town line, the grade increases to about 3.5%. Again, you can see well below the existing grade of the road. So not only do you have a new improved road, but you also render the adjoining properties, both to the northwest and the southeast, acceptable at grade for future development. So we feel this is a win-win for everyone in the village. The Board of Selectmen is clear. If anyone has any technical questions, they can certainly address.
Okay, I'm going to defer to Mark on this. He's my expert on construction, so.
Elevated.
Yeah.
It looks like he's been outside inspecting things.
I was on the property 2 hours ago. It's the first time I had a chance to go out there. When we started at Station 0 on, I think it's fine. But my criticism is heading west, back towards Bus Bridge Road. That corner needs to be addressed, and it can be addressed, looking at where I see wetlands delineation by taking that bank out. I don't know if P&J Holdings owned that bank, but if you went from Station 0 back 200 feet west,
Right in here,
Station 0 right down here at the
right there.
right there. Yeah. If you come back into this thing 200 feet, with 100 feet being into that bank from 0 to 0, is there, who owns that property? Is that Greenwood?
This property line ends right.
So he's in the middle of the property. I don't understand what he-
I think it's 40 still.
And all I had was these 11, 17. Maybe so I had these. So if we go back from 0 to 200 feet, I never did it. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, and there's a poll number of 1732, which should be right
Let's go
here.
back to the survey sheet.
I don't think we picked it up on our.
I didn't see the poll on anything that I had, but 200 feet back from that wetlands, that pipe that's in there, that's very, I'm calling that a 0. I don't have the actual marks, but that's what it all lined up. Measurable. Back here, 200 feet, is 1732, telephone pole, or it's guy wire, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I believe that is possible with P&J property. It's their property.
Here is the pond right
Yeah,
here.
and here's your living station 0, should be right about here. Now, please, I didn't see it now, but here we go, 0, 0, is right here.
Right there.
A little bit further. This is your crossing, this is your crossing.
The wetland crossing.
Got that change to grade. So this is the end of the Queens.
Yes.
I like this one. This is great, but I'm afraid if you send all of the traffic west now at a higher rate of speed into an S corner, that's very dangerous. If there was any way they could talk to the neighbor, maybe the banks, probably, well, would be tall and as high as, if I don't see if there's any use for anybody, they could follow into that. And I know that's not part of the plan, but I'm just saying, I think down the road, we're gonna have a big issue there. Just take that out and you can put in a wall, or if you get enough, just to put a sharp slope in there. The wetlands are back here, you don't have to get in the wetlands, you don't have to touch the north side of the road. I wouldn't care if you had 50-foot right of way in there, just say you gotta address that corner. Make it more attractive. I just think that maybe it's hazardous the way it is, it's not good. But for a little bit more work, I think you finish the project.
You think you're getting out of here while the sun's still up?
Yeah. So anyway,
Back to Paul said.
I think we are.
That could start, that could be, so that's 200 feet. Go from 0, if you could come in 20 feet, 50, anything. Get rid of this. You can almost even just do it with line of sight, but you could buy in the legs. The rest of the thing, I like a lot. You can still do that. Owner, they certainly do it with the town. Because that's a lot of beats a lot. Anyway, they send over, put that in as a follow a black snake and they put the rope in. So I got strong concerns about that.
We'll take a look.
Thank you.
Well, actually, John,
Just had a question from the letter that you sent. So item 6 asks or states to make a determination of some amount of contribution from the area for attaining endangered and threatened species ecologists. Has there been any looking into that?
Oh, the study is done. Study is done.
Is there any estimate as to what amount of contribution the town would have?
Anything you're going to do. What was the cost, 12,000?
Yes, so far.
So that's already been done and paid for? Or-
Yes, yeah, been done and paid for. There's going to be more work, because it's an involved report, but we have to track the state foot codes and move them before construction stuff. It's more stuff that has to be done. We don't have the estimate on that yet. So, if someone can contribute to that, would be great. It would be bigger than unicorn. I don't
So you
like
say the toads cause more problems.
more problems than there are. I know I've spoken to Judge Police about that, trying to see if there's actually funding opportunities. Which we, between the fire and whatever else, it's okay.
It's impossible.
So, but that is something we have talked about, and I like your proposed contribution, that's pretty much in line with what we can afford now, but, zero.
That wasn't my proposal. I said anything you can do would be appreciated.
Concern is it's not much.
That's 100 feet tall. Creating that bank.
Okay.
I mean, you're only going up in grade from there.
No, awesome. If that's within,
Well, that was my only other question. Do we have you looked at any of that, let's to see how far we own from center line?
No, not on Cardwalk.
I don't think, my guess is that Car Box Road is probably not a beautiful, that's my guess.
So
But we could determine that from survey work.
if you're heading east, here's the pole. And that's what you see. Now you start coming around that corner, this is coming down. If you could go up to that tree line, just realign that a little bit. And then with your wetlands doesn't come back in, so you're away from it.
Right.
Everything from where you are now is going up in elevation, so if we would just,
Yeah, that's the low point.
I mean, I wouldn't have an issue, I wouldn't make it too much issue. Whoever you end up with for a width, you just gotta put that over there.
You mean a width for the right of way, because we gotta maintain.
You gotta
uniform
maintain the width of the
22
road,
feet.
which is
Yeah,
about 20 feet in there.
yeah, 22 we're proposing.
All right, so if you could just get that, nothing to the north, just leave it where it is, and then just pick it up over there, you can do it.
We'll take a
I know it's
look.
not what we're looking at tonight, but I think that's gonna finish the piece.
Okay.
I think, Rich, I know you and Rich Cody had spoken.
Yes.
Last week. We talked about it, sorry, one thing that jumped out, I think I heard the answer, you and Mark were speaking, was the right of way. If you look at 25 feet off center, you're proposing 22 feet off center, is that what I heard?
22 pavement,
Okay,
50 foot right of way.
50 foot right away, okay,
Yes.
good, that was a question that come up, I didn't see it delineated on any of the maps, but unless not by my vision.
But it'll scale it.
My vision's not that good. Okay, that answers that question. From my perspective, I know I spoke with John Police about this, I think we've been.
I was at one meeting,
as well.
yes.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a better portion of a year or so.
Over a year.
Yeah,
I think we met last summer.
yeah, so it's one of those things, yeah, definitely, I think it's, from my perspective, it's a potential to move forward, and kind of get some much better, improved road out there, and opens up some of that area down there for future, which is development possibilities, which is a good for anybody, from my perspective, it's a good project. Some of those issues that corner at the end, and I understand IWWC, Inland Wetlands has looked at it and they
Yeah,
said,
they approved it last.
okay, they've approved that.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it's a good project, and I know when I spoke to Rich about this, the biggest issue is going to be the discontinuance in terms of scheduling that procedurally, working within the executive orders that we're in, and we'll work between now, and I know P and Z has on their agenda for tomorrow night to do the 8-24.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, definitely look at that. From my end,
You know, the discontinuance, it needs to be done.
yeah,
It doesn't need to be done.
it's not immediately, yeah.
That's right. I mean, realistically, this is a 6 to 8 month construction project. So it needs to be done by the end of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the conversation I had with Rich is. It's not immediate, but we gotta get back to that.
So that was in terms of,
So it's done, that's right. Plus, you understand, this road's gonna be closed.
Yeah.
So the last sheet here is a routing and signage plan. Do we not have that there? Yeah, so we have a routing and signage plan with all the directional signage at Flex Bridge and up at, Mill Road and everything. So this road, Packer Road will only be open to local traffic.
Starbucks.
Yeah, the routing around that.
Around Packard.
Yeah.
This is fun.
The boat launch, everyone's favorite has to be the state boat launch. The good thing about that is the state actually comes and picks the stuff up, we don't have to do it, so.
Historically, there was a lot of other stuff on Packer too.
Yeah, that's for sure. You still mention that road down, you still mention that road down there, PUV, yeah, people have been there long enough there.
Yeah.
It gets their attention. All right, on that note then, I'm thinking we've got a couple of things we gotta act on here, I guess, first one would be, we have to take a look at, we have to take a look at Mark's proposals there for the Evergreen Road, so don't know if we actually want to act on approving the project tonight, or we see the revised plan.
No, I think probably what, it's gotta go to the 824 review.
Got to the
Can't do anything
824,
tonight.
so.
So, we've got the 824 Thursday night, we'll take a look at that area that Mark's concerned about, and come back to your next meeting, with some suggestions.
Yeah, that's when we can start moving forward.
Yeah.
Go through that process with you, just continue on all that.
I mean, I don't wanna hold this up because really what we're supposed to look at, is what's presented.
Right.
But I just feel that there's somebody's gonna have to guess.
Yeah, but and I know we had that, I've looked at that myself in conversations, and that does get into a bottleneck at that end. Yes, you open it up, you have a nice straightaway coming in from Plainfield, once it's there.
I mean, if that's not money, I mean, if that road goes up to the original size, that's fine. You can't really, but we go over there, look at the size and down the road,
Yeah, look, this is a cooperative thing, the
Yeah.
town's been cooperative with us, we wanna get cooperative with the town. We'll take a look, if we can't do anything, we can't, you know, it's worth a look.
And what we'll do is we'll do what government does best, we'll punt to the next meeting, that's not it. I'll make sure Missy comes back for that one too. And, we'll pick it up from there. Like you say, we were talking about this for over a year. Once we've got to this point now, which is improvement. What are you thinking about, in terms of, when final approval, when the final approval comes in? What is the kickoff for construction? When you can think we can start moving forward?
We made anticipate doing that in the fall.
Yeah.
This fall is what
Late
they want to
summer,
start,
late
late summer, this
start,
fall.
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank
No.
you.
That fit in with the time frame they got, so. They, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so that gives us a bit of time.
Yeah.
Very
because,
good.
they're slower in the winter, that's gonna give them an opportunity to get that
So they
material
hold
on
the
there.
dark winter, just can't finish.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Very good, thank you, appreciate you coming out. And we'll see you in, I guess the first week of July is gonna be our first meeting for next month.
Okay,
The
sounds good.
first Tuesday in July, whatever that is, so.
It's on a Saturday.
So it'll be.
Whenever it is, we'll be here.
We'll let you know, yeah, you got it, thank you.
Thank you.
So, wait, wait,
You don't need me for anything else, right? Can I be excused?
Entertainment value, we're gonna get getting out of here now. No, you're done, thanks for coming on, I appreciate it. And we'll see you on the first Tuesday.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're also quiet, I don't know why you hang.
All right, item 4. For those that sat through the last Board of Finance meeting, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I'm actually gonna, because one of the things, 2 things came up. One was talking about the rec department and mowing, and we'll move off on that, because we'll talk about the library stuff first, so you guys can get out of here quicker. So we'll let you guys go first. I know, I'll keep this as short as possible. There are some different proposals that y'all are gonna have, that you were gonna have, regarding your budget numbers based upon some changes, and so we'll take a look at those, and plug them in, and see what we got.
Okay, so, yeah, the Board of Finance, since this is part of the budget, they asked us to be working and get a
We had a special board meeting last night.
Yeah, so these are the numbers that we came up with last night. So you can see the kind of colored out column, you can see what we're proposing, versus our original proposal after that. We'll put out real quick, add up the numbers.
So the big savings here is on library support staff, the grants are in and out anyways.
Yeah, that's why,
So that's your, so that was the one we were talking about because,
Yeah, because we
we were freeing up one staff member.
Yeah.
So that was gonna make up for the differential from the proposed to the new ask, and then you're gonna roll that over into the, we're gonna roll that over into the 1150 line, which is the library line.
yeah, and with the savings of the staff line and what we're returning to the town this year, we seem pretty okay with the combination of those
And
two.
I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought their takeaway from it was to take the approximately 15,000 from the library support staff line and roll that up into the 50 line, which would have given you 15 and 3, 18 to the 1150 line, not the 25.
Well, and then also the 9,000 that we're returning to the town.
Which you're then gonna put back into, you're gonna put, I don't know if that was part of that takeaway. I did, but by about 10 o'clock at night,
Well, that's a very much thing, so.
I don't mind, we'll plug the numbers in, and I'll let them find it out, that's fine, yeah.
All right, did you want to, Chris, another thing is this, we didn't, like, trying to get the exact numbers, one was 14,437, was saving from that
Right.
property, and the other was 9,430, so it came to like 23,867, basically saving and returning to the town. And then we said, our original estimate was like 29,000 something for our proposed FY 2021, and it come down over 4,000, so basically, if you want to count that into, it comes to 28,000 that we are supposed to save.
We'll plug these numbers in, I won't even tell you what the total's gonna be on the bottom line, because I left my laptop with Excel in my office, but we'll plug it in tomorrow, and we'll pass that form on to the budget, to the Board of Finance, and we got another marathon session, we got tomorrow night. I also understand you were meeting with the treasurer today?
Yes.
Yeah, good, you can get that cleaned up, which is good. Off-topic conversation, but that's good to see, I can get that, make sure we can use where it needs to be probably accounted for, that easy. In terms of this, yeah, I'll plug the numbers in tomorrow, and, we'll take it from there. So,
Can I just ask a question? So you cut the support staff from 80,000 to 70,669, so that's a savings of 9,350. And then you're saying you're giving 9,000 back as well, right?
Well, the support staff went up because we had, just like the contracted increases. So it went up from that, and then, so the 14,000.
We got 437.
437, was for the one staff member that we're not going to rehire.
Well, I'm just going, my question is confusing. So the budget as it stands now, the proposed budget right now, the support staff line, 80,000. You're proposing 70,669, which is 9,330 less than what
so the current 2021 proposal was 85,106,
We don't want to say,
Yeah.
and we're going down to 7.
going down to 7.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is,
the same.
because you're on the current year's budget, which is 1920. That's all right, yeah. And so it's about approximately a $15,000 decrease because of the headcount reduction. And then that money's gonna get rolled over into the other line, which is the 1150 line, and then the bottom line, it should look out to about the same. I'll plug the numbers in, I'll let the Board of Finance find it out. They can figure that out on their own, God only knows.
We don't get a lot of traction.
No, actually, this year, I must admit, I find the process frustrating because we end up fighting over very small amounts of money here. 5,000, 10,000, which is also given because it's all taxpayer money. When 250,000 for education and increase that, but when we end up fighting here, and we already came in with our budget, our municipal budget was already down. When we first started the process, I would say about $20,000 right off the bat. So it's a frustrating, it's frustrating, and we keep on doing what we can with the money that we have, and I think we do a pretty good job. We have the resources to us, and we make the best of it. But we'll plug those in, and that's good. The other thing is, I got your email, I gotta look at those, because you're supposed to have a guard on this side, and you're supposed to have another one on that side. I'll tell you what, if you don't like them, by all means, buy what you want, take them out of your budget, because I give up.
I don't get back to like construction costs, like what this thing is like, when it's sitting down there, that's still like 6 inches.
Yeah, you're never gonna get them perfect, I mean, but they're pretty much, they're designed just so if someone comes in, because everyone coming in should be masked up anyways. So they're designed just to keep, if you have someone who's a moist cough or spluttering, or someone who's a sneeze or whatever, it's not gonna be perfect, and you get it hermetically sealed. But I think you're supposed to have one on the long side, I did order two, one for the long side and one for
On the other
the
side, yeah.
And I think one for the long side got moved to somebody else's desk.
Oh,
Nobody was here this morning.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
I went into the library, I gave you, we had one long, one left.
Yeah.
I put it up at 6 inches thinking that the books come in through there.
Oh, no, there's a slot underneath, so.
All right, so that could be low.
We can try.
Yeah, because when you're sitting, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
there's a big gap right in front of
Yeah,
your
that's
face.
fine.
I did that in case somebody had.
We can drop that, okay, there's a long one there, we can drop that, I'll say, Mark, you know, we bought the plexiglass, the town bought the plexiglass, and Mark came in with his guys, and they put them up, and I appreciate him coming and doing that, and, you know, they're not perfect.
After we did all of that, we found out that somebody else, we need another sheet.
Yeah,
So we need 3 more feet.
yeah,
So,
I think they're ordering those as we speak.
for the 4-footer for that.
Yeah,
Another 2-footer by 4 for Natalie.
yeah,
And then there was one left over who we had already anticipated in the light.
right.
So.
It's like this one right
So
now.
we can show Chris,
Or like this one's right in front, it's still like there's like a gap here, and a gap here, and then there's the other side, because I don't know, do they have like a wraparound or not? There's no wraparound kind of deal.
we don't have, I mean, we can
There's
do
no
it on
curve. This is
that,
not-
but this is not that kind of.
Yeah, you get, I think, unless you're actually gonna have the thing hermetically sealed, whether it wrap around or not, doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's pretty much there to give you sort of basic protection.
The Stop and Shop just got a little thing and the drive-through, so you got more than they do. but We try to do the best we can, anticipate.
So
So,
we could, yeah, that can be dropped.
It's structureless, yeah, it's only because when you're sitting down, it's like that, that's when it's, yeah.
Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem. We'll work through that, no problem.
And also, I don't know what Patsy wants to mention.
I just wanna kind of get out there that I'm kind of in disagreement with the approach of just throwing this at the board of finance and saying, do what you will. I mean, I think it's our budget. I think if the library is here making a proposal, we can consider it. I agree with you in that I'm frustrated with the process, but I think we can ease our frustration by going into the board of finance with a budget that's been reworked, saying, hey. listen
Yeah,
to
well,
the library.
that's what I mean by that. I'll be flippant because I feel like crap. You know, but I'll be a little bit flippant in that respect. Yeah, I do put more input than that. I'm just, I'm on like 2 days of feeling like rubbish, and so that's sort of what you get out of me. So I'm not at my desk, but now I know exactly what you're saying. And it'll, you know, as with any of these things that gets presented to the board of finance, like it's my meeting is they do have the ultimate control over the I think this, again, I'm trying to go over memory and in my notes, this does sort of fall into what they requested at the last meeting. Let me see, like a lifetime ago. it was
More
like-
cohesive if we go in there and say, here's what we did, here's how we worked it, here's what we proposed, rather than just say, here's what the library's got, we should go with it.
Well, yeah, the point I'll make is the final decision rests with them.
Right. I understand that they have the authority to make line item changes, it doesn't mean that they should make line item changes. What should happen is they should listen to the boards in town, and they should take advice from the boards in town. If the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work, that's certainly within their discretion, but at the same time, I think that we have got to be considering these numbers and putting a budget in front of the board of finance, otherwise, what do we do?
And I was gonna say, too, just like within this is when returning some money, if this was a pandemic and what's gonna happen, if we have money, we'll certainly return it next year, next June, whenever the money comes back, if we extend it, you know?
And then, The Board of Finance did mention at one of the meetings saying for the Board of Selectmen to rework the budget and figure it out, so.
They might buy.
They didn't, yeah, they didn't say that you had,
Everybody's taking that book off.
Yeah, see, the board of.
Yeah, nobody wants to-
They don't wanna make the decision, but no, John is right, you know, but we do, when we go, we usually give a pretty good budget presentation, and we sell it. But at the end of the day, the final vote comes down to them, and I think, you know, based upon the notes I had, this was what they were looking for in terms of the last meeting, so. Like I say, we'll vote on this, we'll plug the numbers in, if we approve it as a board, I don't think that's gonna be a problem, we'll plug the numbers in, present it to the Board of Finance, which is at tomorrow night's meeting, and we'll see how that goes. They never can go with the Board of Finance, that's the plan, we'll take it from there. So let's, I'll entertain a motion that we, make changes to fiscal year 2021 in line with the proposals as presented here tonight. Public Health. Do we have a second? Any discussion? I'm hearing none, all in favor? All right, so we'll plug those in and see where that takes us after our next meeting, so. That's it, I think you guys are done, look, you didn't have to restrain your wife from it. He was ready. He was ready. I know, I tell you. Remember, chokeholds, you can't use the chokehold anymore as a retired state policeman.
Hey, all I can say.
You're gonna use them to that.
No, no,
We're accredited, so we need.
And he can tell you stories, because once I say like 95% of people, but there's a 5%. You witnessed something from a long time ago, he's one of the good guys, because once in a while, the bad guys.
You wouldn't be with Walt if he wasn't a good guy.
The other thing I was afraid of, is identifying me as a constable, so if you wanted me to remove someone, it's in a statute, I'm supposed to do it. That's why I don't want to come to the meetings.
Walt, remove your wife.
All right, we'll see you guys on Zoom tomorrow.
Good night.
Okay.
The next thing about the budget that had come up, and this was in Jeanette Kilday talking about this a few times. She was concerned with the rec department budget, and they were requesting $16,000 for this year. And the question comes up, well, can they use VRE money to multiply? So this is the answer to that. Okay, so I just took a look at what the rec department has in PRE money. They have accumulated over the past number of years, a little bit over $54,000. This is the money they get from the power plant settlement. They get $10,000 a year, and it goes into the CIP account. This year, their request for funding was $16,000. I'm going to pull their expenses from last year. They spent approximately $13,000 in lawn mowing expenses. We have other expenses as well, which include Eversource, portable water millers, Willamette waste, and some other operating expenses. But the vast majority is $13,186 spent on lawn mowing last fiscal year. So taking a look at that, taking a look at the $54,000 that they have in PRE, the fact that the PRE money can be used for lawn mowing, I'm looking at their budget request for this year. Do you have that number on you, John? Did you find that in your budget sheet? No, I was hoping you'd have. I'm saying 16. I just want to double check before I commit to that. Yeah, that's it.
Recreation, Parks and Grounds, $16,000.
Okay, 16.
Programs, $10,000.
Yeah, and the programs, what's the number on that?
1170.
Sure, right there, okay, yeah, right in front of it. Yeah, and the rec programs that's in and outlined, that has an asterisk next to it. So they were looking at 16,000 for Parks and Grounds. Yeah, they do have about they had 13,000 in lawn mowing, The rest of it was Eversource and Willamette Waste and some other expenses, so I'm almost willing to, look at, say, we reduce that to $5,000, which will give them a little bit more than what they had last year for Eversource. And,
What were they looking to do? Did they have a project in mind that's?
I don't think so,
Because
no.
if they have enough now,
No, the last thing they were talking about, and never went anywhere, was a tennis court. And when I talked to them the last time about that, and explained a real tennis court's about $100,000. That stopped, that stopped. I always said the best thing to do if someone wants to play tennis now is to go to Plainfield, because they have 4 great courts in front of the high school. Right, so it's a trade-off, because they use Mansion Park, we'll go use the tennis courts. It's a trade-off. They have 4 great courts they put in front of the new high school, Route 12. I don't think they have anything, not that I've had communicated to me that they have any major projects.
well, the other thing I'm looking at is if they had something in mind and they're trying to take away. Other than that, I say, look, we funded them, not extravagantly, but they had enough to get through.
Right.
So. Just trying to go over it.
Right, so my perspective on this, if we would leave $5,000 in that line, 1170, which is rec parks and grounds, that will give them the money they need for eliminated waste, that will give them the money that they need for Eversource. And then the other cost, the other expenses for maintaining the fields to be shifted into the PRE money, which would be, last year was 13,000, so we probably got the same. They still have 5,000 and 1170 in the mowing cost to be PRE.
Which then I would have rather had us say we're looking to do a project.
Yeah, I would like that too, yeah.
Do we need a know-how, or do we
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
something with field, because if you just give them the money.
Yeah.
They already proved that they had enough, they were responsible enough to get through the year,
Right,
but they said, we're maxed right out, we can't do anything more, we're gonna buy a pound of grass seed, and then say, what would you like to do? And give them money towards that. That's all.
yeah, and I don't know if they have any long-term projects, they haven't communicated them, there's work going on down at Springfield. But, actually, the town crew was down there, we tore off a tree falling into the dugout, so we took the tree out and tore the roof off and got rid of that. Springfield? Yeah, that may have fallen into that same kind of category. Yeah.
You know, they said we'd like to do that, but.
Yeah.
There's every organization around right now, like that. Wow.
Right, but essentially, it's reducing their ask from 16 to 5, which would cover some of their operating expenses, and shrunk the rest of the expense to the PRA. So on the bottom line, it would show a reduction of $11,000 over what's there now, because the PRE money would be picking up the cost of mowing and field maintenance.
So you're looking to give them money, yeah.
They could spend whatever they want to mow that, they could take that anytime they want, that money's already in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we're 5 more for the year, or cover the loan?
Cover the mowing for the year. The cost of the mowing is about 13,000. And they have 54 in PRE money.
That's, you're right, you know.
Yeah, from the, because they get 10,000, 15,000 a year from that side.
Or,
Anything they, generally speaking, it's a capital improvement,
but I mean, that earmark goes away.
that is earmarked towards rec, it is in their PRE reserve line. Yeah, that's the topic of conversation that came up. Now, I don't want to see, I wouldn't want to see rec strict, which is why I'm thinking if you leave 5 in there, that can cover all their operating expenses they might have in those grounds, outside of the mowing. And there's gonna be, they'll probably have 2,000 more than they need, in there, but that'll give them what they need, and enough to be on the safe side, and then shut the money into the mowing. I would actually like to see them come in at some point with sort of a long-term proposal.
That's why they give them money. If you give them the money for the moment, they don't need to get it from the town twice.
Right, we give them the money for the mowing, So the mowing money would come out of PRA.
Yeah.
The only thing that the 1170 would cover would be things like illuminated waste
Yep.
for Springfield. And affordable portables.
Yeah.
And Eversource.
So they wouldn't be,
I think they're getting, are they,
$16,000.
No, they would be getting, I say if we were to give them 5 at 1170, which would be 11,000 cut.
okay,
And then the PRE money would pick up the mowing. And that would work for them.
I think they might be getting money back from the athletic association too, because there was something a while back about.
Hold that.
You're putting out more money coming back.
I mean, it just makes more sense if you cut that line item down $5,000.
Yeah.
And then now they're stuck with $5,000 and they're spending the PRA money. It's, if they'd like to build something, and all the money's going, now you gotta try to get the top.
Then you gotta cut back, and that's why one thing, and this was brought up with the Board of Finance.
Yeah.
And so I said I would bring it back to discuss here, and that's my one concern about that, is 54,000 does not go far. They said, okay, we want to rebuild this field. $54,000 does not go far in rebuilding dugouts or putting up a gazebo or some sort of structure. It does not, that money disappears pretty
If you kept
quickly.
16,000 in there and you said that we'd like to give them 5,000 from PRA. Then you're not taking out all their money and then somebody's down, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want that money, but if you spend it all, now you have to go to a CIP thing and I don't know, you do what you want, I'll go with the flow, but it just seems to.
Now, you go with the flow, it's wet.
With cutting their budget a little bit, maybe spark them into action to start. doing
You
some
know-
Projects and using some of that money. I mean,
It might, so we could sit there and say, okay, we're going to, instead of giving them the $16,000, which was their ask, we will drop that down to, let's say, 10,000, and then they're gonna have to shunt some of those expenses into that PRE to cover some of their lawn expenses, but that might also spark them thinking, yeah, we're gonna spend all this money mowing grass, or can we actually do something with it? You might be onto something, that might spark the conversation, who do you know who's on that commission? Anyone?
no, we already have-
Amy's on there
But I mean,
now.
the reason Amy wanted to get involved is because there's nothing going on.
Yeah, which is nice, and I've actually, the good thing about putting Amy on is, yeah, maybe she'll take the lead on that.
Have they approached you about it?
No,
No,
in fact, and I hate to say it, but my conversations with Rick are very limited, they meet irregularly. I see Jim Glennon every now and again coming into the office for something, but there's never been any sort of, let's put down a long-term strategic plan as to where you want to go with this money, and I'll take part of the blame for that, and maybe I should put out one of my things to do when we get through the pandemic, is to really put them on point and get them focused and,
What I was saying for the take that out, is I think they're getting money back, unless it's already happened, I don't know, but I think they're getting money back from their.
in addition to what they get from.
Well, there was a discrepancy over the payment of porta potties.
Yeah.
And so they apparently paid for some that the athletic association was responsible for. And so they sent a correspondence to the athletic association saying, hey, you owe us X dollars. And, so I didn't remember getting that money back.
that's fine, and that money would have to come back to the town, and we would deposit it, yeah.
Do we have to do anything like that?
The Board of Finance meets tomorrow, we can leave it as is, and they can,
We can always work this out, but. Yeah. Something.
yeah, we can actually work anything out of the
Keep
budget.
chopping.
Yeah.
And then you crash, you don't need to do that.
Well, the problem is they keep chopping on us. And so if
Right.
we don't go back and say, hey, here's what we did, they're gonna go.
Like everyone else did, that's it, that's the bottom line.
I mean, we can do that.
I mean, the money's still there, I just say, cut it.
Yeah.
Take that money, and they need something, you can have it.
Right, and that's the thing, rec is one of those things, it can be a real asset to a town. And I know one of the areas I'm looking at long-term is, we have the Pinedale parcel, which is off of Oregon Road, and that was a 40-acre parcel which was, given to the town as part of a settlement going back a number of years ago. And then Mark will tell you in great detail all about that, but not tonight. But it's 40 acres. It's an interesting piece of land. It starts at Waukegan Road, but it actually has riverfront. A little bit of river frontage on the Quinnebog. So when I saw that on the map, and I said, what a fantastic parcel of land to develop for Passive Rec. You know, that's the new soccer field, if the solar farm moves forward, they're gonna go there, in the front of it. But then you have this whole 40-acre parcel, which is wide open, and open to any number of possibilities, from walking trail to riverfront access to, it could be, over in Brooklyn, they have one of those frisbee golf course things, cut into a parcel. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot that rec can bring to a town when you have the vision and you have the desire to actually do those initiatives like that. Great asset to the community. So, in long term, I'd like to see that parcel repurposed. So that, to Mark's point, that 54,000, it doesn't go far, but it's actually a good starting point in that PRE money to look at what you can do for the future.
Yeah, just like being at that parcel down by Scandal.
Yeah.
Apartments, and they've never been able to do anything.
Yeah.
As a building on it, they'll find a way to sell that and get that to.
Recoup the funds, yeah,
Put that into a record.
yeah.
Fund.
Is there a little-
There's really in Mike down there.
It's got like a little blacktop basketball court, and there's not much going on there.
Anytime they try to do something, it got destroyed.
Yeah, if they put in one of those portable skating rinks, which took about a week for someone to cut through it and all the water to drain out. Yeah. So essentially then, we could leave it where it is and say to the Board of Finance, we talked about it, but we've got to get that 54,000 used for a long-term program for the town future development. We'd like to see that there. We can make an adjustment to line 1170 and bring it down a little bit. It's like 6 to 1, half dozen to the honor around this. You don't really gain. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yeah.
We're getting beat up.
Yeah.
And the real culprit is up in town.
Yeah. On a regular basis, we get beat up.
So, I think we're tracking the common question behind the question.
Yeah.
The money's there, we know it should be used for activities. Higher things, we know what it is.
What can we do to get them to start using it? I mean, because I agree with Chris's point, if you've got money, but it should be.
I mean, if they said, hey, we didn't have enough money last year, we needed to fix an area down there, and they say, well, what, that's something positive. He said, I got through the year, and I didn't have anything left over, I got through the year, and now they said, now we got some long-term goals. They used to have I don't know whatever happened to a plan of development down there, it changed numerous times, they actually had something to do, and say, well, now you got that money right there. Now you can do it, but if you take a diamond and 12-1.
Then there's nothing. You have nothing to show. You have nothing to show for it.
If they needed a couple thousand to get through the year, we could do the line.
I think in terms of a long-term rec program, Pinedale, I would like to see that Pinedale parcel when that solar project is done, opened up in some capacity. Because that's a long-term project that you get.
I think we do a good job in that, I guess, like to see them keep their money. If you do this, it's not helping them.
No, they'll deplete their PRE on their own class and it's, yeah.
Well, I mean, yes and no. You're taking money from them, yes, you're taking money from a line that they're not using it and not doing anything with it, in the hopes that maybe it goes back somewhere else, or the finance doesn't come from somewhere else that actually is using it. I mean, I guess that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. Where's that fine line? So I don't want to see rec get depleted, and I hate to see all that money get spent for 16,000, 54,000, they get 15,000 a year. So essentially that 15,000 from PRA would get expended every year on mowing grass for the next
Well, you can put
8 years.
Put a limit on it, you can go next year, won't put a plan, they got new members now, they haven't had any members.
November.
Give them a couple months to come up with some sort of idea what they want to do down there. And, you can get them through the year, but you can still tap that fund, and give them some money, but we can focus on the jet.
We'll have to start attending their meetings now on a regular basis. So how about this then? We'll all walk out of here happy, and that doesn't happen often. If we were to take their ask for 16,000 and reduce it to 10, that's a shot across the bow, kind of like what John is saying, it's a wake-up call. Well, you know, you can still fund your operations, you're gonna have to tap into your PRE money to do it, but, you know, let's come up with a plan so that money doesn't look like it's sitting out there collecting dust. Give us a long-term plan for how we want to expend those funds. And it's, again, though, we're just, again, we're not really helping ourselves anymore, but, you know.
But I think the point needs to be made to the Board of Finance, is the only reason we're taking it from there is because historically they haven't spent it, and we're hoping that it helps them not take money from other entities that are spending money into the I hate to do it.
You know, no one wins with this.
But I mean, I think that recognition could be largely unaffected by it if they do have money coming back from the athletics.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's cut unaffected if they get the I think it's a $3,000.
The affordable costs here. 150, 150, 75, 75, if you probably got a couple, $500-$600 there, maybe either way.
No, I think it's over the course of years.
Oh, over the course of years, oh, okay, long term, okay, all right, so it's about, that's, okay, so $500 a year over the course of years, that's different, okay. I was thinking this one. Like this would be. All right. John, jump on it, it's all yours. You're not making a motion. Oh,
I said,
no.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, I thought you said, no. I thought you said, I'm not making a motion.
I'll own this one as much as it means.
That's all I wanted.
That's-
For all phone calls.
Yeah.
Give the money to the record.
That, and also, I'm going to appoint you as the official liaison with the rec commission from the board of selectmen.
I'll get them to we'll be coming knocking back for more.
Hey, if it's for stuff that's gonna benefit the town, to use that PRE money and make Canterbury a better place to live, I'm all for that. That's good. We need to have more stuff in town for people to, even if it's something like,
It's obvious, John likes the library better than the rec commission, so.
That's not even.
but even some rec departments, like over in Sprague, their rec department sponsors, movies, and they'll put the movie screen up in the park in Sprague. I actually, when Kathy Olson was first selected, I asked her, I said, can we borrow that sometime for Canterbury? She said, yeah, there's things like that you can do that aren't necessarily sports related, but something where you can put a big movie screen up here and, fill this parking lot up, on a Saturday night.
The problem is we're getting slammed by the Board of Finance in terms of this budget. It's
Right.
a tough year, and so to the extent that we can control it and control where the cuts are gonna come from, we need to do that. So if we can take, as much as I don't wanna take it from the recognition, I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
but it's,
Take all the little kids at night. I don't think it's sleep, that's all right.
Yeah, you have to bring your own soccer ball, Pele, I'm sorry. They kicked that on, you can have one of those.
Come on, throw it right out there.
Come on, that's it, step on up to the plate, so to say. No, I missed it, what was it, can you repeat it? Yeah.
I was just reiterating what you said. What was your suggestion?
Julian, read the minutes back for John's got temporary amnesia. Let's hear it, what should help for us, Counselor?
Where's your resolve? Come on.
Make a motion to cut the recreation budget from 16,000 to 10,000.
And that's line 1170. We have a second for that.
I said I go with the flow, reluctantly. My number is not involved.
That sounds like a second for Mark. Any discussion? All right. I think we've already discussed this to death anyway.
Yeah,
So
so-
hearing none, all in favor, I'm starting with John, you go first. Aye, that was a yes from John. Aye, I'll go aye for that as well. I hope, like you say, it's a good shot across the bow, but.
Well, I hope they do start using light, because I think they can be a good benefit to the town, but if you put yourself in the crosshairs when you're in a budget crisis and you're not using money. So,
That part, that Pinedale parcel, I believe there's a lot of opportunity down there when that opens up, and that, even if the solar farm doesn't go forward, the Pinedale parcel is still ours, and that's an area I checked, I think it's fantastic, we got, actually, our river frontage is nice. So, I'll make my note, and I'll update the budget, so, so then, when I do that, so then I need a motion to accept the budget as amended. I won't give you the bottom line, because I don't do the math in my head, but as amended, and our budget, you have to accept our budget as amended, with tonight's, changes for both the library funding, the rec funding. I'm not gonna give the bottom line on, because I'm not having enough in my head. We'll make the adjustment tomorrow, and we'll do it all. So we're ready on motion to agree with the budget as amended. All, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, so move that forward. Move that forward tomorrow. Fix that up in the morning with Pat, we'll get that off to the Board of Finance, and we'll have an opportunity to review. On that, I got too many pieces of paper on lost tonight's agenda.
selectmen's report.
Okay, thank you. Selectmen's report, John, what do you have for us?
We were talking about all the stuff that the commission and changes, so the athletic association was able to secure some lights from, killing soccer.
Putnam.
Oh, Hut.
Putnam, yeah, and the long story short on that, I got a call from, Jeff Rawson's dad, his name, and Joe LeBlanc. Alan Ross, and he called me up and said, thank you. He said, hey, I got these lights up here, there, it's where they're building the new town hall up in Putnam. So he said, I said, well, it's not gonna cost the town anything. I said, well, give Barney a call. But Barney said, hey, the mayor up in Putnam, so I give Barney a call, and I said, Barney, I said, he said, you can have them. I said, that was too quick, I didn't even ask. I said, how bad are they? He said, I said, no, they're good. So, yeah, so they're gonna actually, they get them shipped down here, they're gonna be there, they're gonna work on the install.
Well, they're already there, we paid for the transportation
Yeah.
and all that, and
Yeah.
Rossman's gonna do
The installation, yeah.
It's all set.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Right, so Barney was glad to donate them to the town of Canterbury, so I thank Barney for that, I own the problem with Jack. And Alan was nice to push us forward, we could put that together, and they were actually getting on the site of what's gonna be the new, Putnam town hall, and that's, and that's actually that's part of that Pinedale parcel. Yeah, it'd be good to get those out. Good. Mark? You might as well go now, because.
Like, getting information on the school budget, I don't know. I've gone everywhere, you can't figure it out. In my recollection, 1920 budget, then was 11.6. We got 400,000, all up numbers, 300 being special ed overage. And then another 100 being money that we funded them for the flood village checks and for pension funds that never got delivered to the state. So that brought it up to a nice 12 million.
Right.
Now, I understand that they're asking or going to receive, which I know, another 260 on top of that
Yes.
from the Board of Finance for a gain of $640,000 more than what it was in 1920.
Right.
So, I'm fed up. We can't make this come out right. I'm ashamed of what's going on here. I'm ashamed we can't get numbers, and I'm really upset that we can't get the school who agreed to go over their books with our treasurer. And at some point, I'm gonna say enough. I think that should end. Now, we gotta get rid of somebody, or we gotta get somebody in here to audit those books. I'm gonna get people asking me questions, what's going on? Because obviously, they don't know. We don't know, because they don't tell us. We're paying for 2 superintendents this year out of this budget, we're paying for 2 directors,
Yeah, special ed director, yeah.
and everybody's leaving under hush-hush terms. We're paying for extra maintenance people, and all the other people, the other half a dozen people that they've hired, some necessary, some not. I think the Board of Finance, I'll put it in their court, is wrong. And they're not doing the service to this town. And I think enough's enough. I don't know what you wanna do about it, but I think if we do nothing, we're not doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm disappointed, and that's a weak word to use, actually it's stronger than that. And the
It's
fact
not.
that we asked for them to start an investigation, and nothing has come of that.
And
And that is, you know, the Board of Finance, I tasked them to get that moving with them, and then nothing has come of that. And I'm concerned about that, because that is something that we had asked for, to ensure that things, that they use.
What's the oversight you assume when somebody won't go along with this?
I don't even want to,
It's
yeah, I don't want to assume it, but it's, yes, I know exactly what you're saying, yeah, and so,
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, I hope you can. Not you, now.
Yeah.
Prove us
Oh, yeah.
wrong, but right now, it don't look right, it don't smell
Yeah.
right, and it's making us look bad.
and I pushed on that one, and I'm not getting any traction, and the Board of Education chair has been behind that, and she's not getting any traction internally to move forward, and so I think the whole process as it's playing out is, well, if we do nothing and install it, it'll go away, and it can't go away, it won't go away.
And we call
You
the
won't
state.
forget.
I'm at the point now where I would be right on that, if I told the state, have come down here, there's something wrong. And I think everybody involved in this, Lori's willing to do it.
Lori's willing to do it, the Board of Education chair is willing to work,
We
to
keep
move
going
this
back and forth.
forward, but you're not getting they're not getting any traction from internally from the administration.
No.
Yes, I will agree with that 100%, and I use the word disappointing, there's other words I will use when we're live streaming and someone's kid might be watching, so,
I hope everybody's watching.
yeah, but I would like, that is enough's enough, I've spoken with the Board of Finance about that, to push them on it, as the ones that really have the control over the money in town, and still.
But if everyone's unwilling to do it, we need to go, I don't, call Rich Cody or somebody and find out what our next course of action is. They're doing nothing, it's working.
No, that's not gonna go, so. Yeah,
$600,000 in a year.
yeah, and that's the other thing too, which I find frustrating in this job, and that we end up, year after year, we do the same or more with, generally speaking, less, because our budget is been flat. Up a little bit, generally speaking, our budget has been flat. And we do a good job, the folks in town, whether it's the town pool or the staff down here, we do a good job. And every year we get the screws tightened and tightened and tightened. It becomes very difficult to the point where it makes it difficult for us to fund the operations of the town, for us to prepare for emergencies, for us to actually do some of the needed improvements that need to be done, so we can at least keep on the forefront of where we need to be.
We take money from the rec department,
Yeah.
land. We take money from the rec department, we take money from the library,
Right.
we already took money.
Right,
We pick up returnable bottles here, they Procter champagne up there.
yeah,
Enough's enough, $600,000, and we're squabbling over it.
yeah, we're fighting over the table scraps down
I
here.
don't know that you can say that we pop the champagne bottles up there. I mean, and I have kids in the school up there.
I have none.
Well, I mean, I
I
had
have
a kid
none.
who graduated Baldwin last year, and, you know, since then, the number of programs that have been cut, even since he's left in the years, I mean, it's ridiculous.
So I think mismanagement is probably the word that I'm looking for. They have more than enough money to do it. I don't think they're operating very efficiently. And if you don't wanna prove to me what your books are saying, they're telling you there's something else going on. You're paying for a double superintendent, you're paying for directors of type of way. You're hiring people that you don't need, you can't prove fees you need. And just, if you could go and get somebody to go objectively and look at those books and tell me, oh, no, that's okay. Then I could start maybe agreeing with you, but right now, no, $600,000 in a year doesn't tell me that they're doing okay. And in the 3 years prior to that was another million. So, and our student population is decreasing. So you tell me how this is working, because I don't see it, and a lot of people in this town don't see it, and I can't prove that they're right or wrong. And I would love to do that. I'd love to have them say, hey, check the books. Everything's here, it all matches up, and they're doing the best they can. But I bet you when it gets done, you won't be able to say that. I graduated from Bowles, lived my whole life. And I want to see everybody get what they're supposed to get. I don't want to see people squandering money, buying garages and doing outside projects and not returning anything to the town. And up $1.6 million in 4 years. To me, that's over 10%. To me, that's just totally out of line. So prove me wrong. That's all I said. Prove me wrong.
Well, I hope with the new superintendent, who has a lot of experience down in Billingsley in all positions, working away from that teacher to a superintendent, when Steve Goodyear starts here, I hope he gets tight fiscal management up there. So we can try to bring those costs down, and we can try to make the school perform well with the money that it has, and that's the key. Make it perform well with the money that it has, because one thing you notice is you look at it, we try to give the kids the best education we can, and you want to have them, you want to have a great education, the best education.
I don't think
You want
anybody
to make
wants to
sure,
see it.
but you don't want to see money get squandered. I'd rather see that money, as I said, from day one, back when I was on the Board of Education, I'd recommend that they always do a top to bottom review, so that they can ensure that the tooth to tail ratio is correct on that. Because what's happening now is that the tooth end, which is the teaching end, is getting starved. The tail end, the bureaucratic end, seems to be getting inflated. So I'd rather see that money go into the tooth end, the education end, where you're going to have direct impact on the children, where you're going to see the scores go up, where you're going to see the quality of the education go up, rather than into the back office functions. And so they're due for a major overhaul, they're due for a major rethink in where they're investing their money and where they're spending their money. And I hope the new superintendent who comes in, and takes that task on.
But if I was the new superintendent, I want to know that I'm accepting this with a clean bill of health. Because if not, this just keeps perpetuating.
What specific requests have been made of the school to provide the documentation that you're looking for?
They sat right here and they said that Michelle, and Lori, and, what's her name?
Yes.
Nancy, be able to go down and they'd sit down and go through the books. One person won't commit to doing it.
What happened, and you weren't on the board at the time, but towards the end of the last fiscal year, there were some issues with accounts payable that being paid for fiscal year X, Y, or being paid for fiscal year A and B. So the money wasn't matched up. It was, and so that was brought away and that was corrected. But then the issue came to the board of selectmen at that time voted that unanimously voted that the Board of Education has undertaken a review of the spending practices at that time to ensure that there was clarity there. So council should see that there was clarity there. And so that hasn't come to pass. They talked about it with the Board of Education, though. They're looking at hiring outside consultant to come in and look at it. That didn't go anywhere. They looked at doing an internal review using internal assets, and including the town treasurer on it, and that has stalled. I guess that's the best way to phrase it. That is stalled.
Maybe a stupid question, but I know there was a big turnaround with the Board of Education. Is the current board aware?
Oh yeah. Actually, the current board has been fighting those conversations since that was probably one of the first things on their agenda back when they first.
And I know we all met with the Board of Finance, and I know there was some discussion of it, but I don't remember anything actually
But-
committed to that.
But yeah, it was a board of selectmen, request, but I think it's good, man, that they do it, and so it's been, it hasn't been ignored, because the Board of Finance, the Board of Education looked it up, and said, yes, they're committed to do it, and now it's just stalled, in part because they're not getting the traction internally they need to move forward with the
They weren't
investigation.
providing us with reports, monthly reports,
Well, I
like
remember
8
that.
months.
I remember you had that complaint, I thought that got cured.
They started getting them sporadic after that. And it got so bad that I don't even go, I told the lawyer, I said, if you're not comfortable signing checks, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sign my name to anything if you don't know what's in that account. Which means you need to get a report, so at least somebody else told you that that was there instead of your own say so. And, they, past actions, terrible up there, they took it, they bought, roughly $150,000 garage, which they never had a line item for, that should have been a CIP project. We got a paving job up there for $100,000, I was told it cost. The misuse or mismanagement of money can be proved in the past. And it got so bad in this town that it was referred to as a guideline, not even a budget anymore. What are we voting on? Because it doesn't work. So until they can show that their house is in order, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I don't want anything associated with it. If you guys don't want to do nothing with it, that's fine. I'm gonna walk out of here clean on that. That's right.
But we've been trying,
You can't try anymore. We're done trying. So get
what's the
somebody
next
involved.
step? Yeah, but that's it, I know. So now I got more crap on my plate, but all right, we'll have to talk.
I'll
We'll talk to town council about that.
police. I mean, whatever you want me to do, because this is enough.
We'll talk to town council about that, we'll actually talk to the auditor about that and see what they can do. That was a request that we had, and it has, yeah, they have not acted on it. I know it's not because the Board of Ed's ignored it, the Board of Ed has acted on it, but it's,
But
internally, it's,
obviously,
Well, on deaf ears.
they should be the board that has the ability to do it, so they can't do it. So maybe it's a forensic audit we need. If we need to appropriate money to do this, I say at one point or another, we're gonna put it to bed and say yes or no.
Yeah.
Is it in order or is it in New York? I'm hoping what you're gonna tell me is it just mismanaged.
Right.
In which case you just shake up the tree and get rid of that house.
not, but I'm really putting, I'm really hoping that Justin, we can do something that he comes in and he manages that.
It's always Jim was gonna take care of it. The new board of Ed was gonna take care of it. I don't know what you do. It just keeps going. We'll be here 6 months from now saying, oh, I wish we could have straightened that out.
I hate to say it, but you're probably right.
I don't
So
want to.
let's fix it. I'd rather you were wrong on that, yeah. All right, we'll work on that. Talk to me tomorrow. All right, we're done. Call it at 8, oh my God, 8:25.
I can't believe you guys talk so much. I've been out here half an hour.
45 minutes, but.
I get a soapbox next time.
Yeah, jeez. All right, well, it says here, end stream recordings. I'm gonna click here. Are you sure you want to end your stream? And